What's going on this morning, family? What's going on? Black Finish checking in. Just wanted to talk to you about something live real quick. I had a few people asking me about my experience in the RV. And in my experience in the RV for 4 years, what I learned and how you can convert that technology of living in the RV or the RV technology to your container conversion. People think that everything has to be done a specific way, and actually it's a guideline. Me living in the RV, I learned a few different things about living in them, as far as the plumbing, the electrical, the structure, the frame, the wiring, the roof. It's just different things that you learn. And once you understand what you're actually doing or how they sell the RVs or market them, you'll understand that actually doing your shipping container conversion could actually be better than your RV. But you have high end shipping containers high end RVs that's real nice. Mine, I had actually a 2004 Glendale Titanium, and mine booked out at around over 50,000 new when that year came out, and I had all the options in the one that I had. But I would actually say that living in it showed me how I can convert that living and that technology over to a shipping container. Like, as far as like being on and off grid, that's one thing that I loved about the RV living, that I had the option to be on and off grid. Literally, I could take it with my dually and pull up somewhere and just power up off a generator. I could just live, in the, you know, woods or whatever, camping for a while, completely off grid. People buy land where they just own the land and live completely off grid with generators and um, the different power sources from the sun. Now they got so many ways to obtain power. So I mean, honestly, and I'm gonna tell you something else. The chance of your RV tipping is a great chance too, because of the structure of the way it is. So when you think about the shipping containers and you think about, man, I want to travel in one, I send one. The only thing is it's just box and bulky. But if you think about the modern things you can do to it, you could actually use the same setup inside of an RV, and you can put it inside of your shipping container. And that's really what I'm doing with my office, kind of how I'm laying out my design um, with the office slash storefront. And I'm also made it optional where I can be able to turn it into a 20-foot bunker house or studio apartment if need to. So I made the end where the welding booth is 5 foot, so that way I still have 5 foot room to make 5 by 8 by 9 bathroom. If I want to add the bathroom area, it's easy to add, because once you live in a shipping container, you live in a RV, you'll understand the plumbing system and how you can run it and how you can put tanks. So you can actually buy a tank literally that will mount under your shipping container, that's flat, that you can put scraps under and mount under there and run your plumbing to have a tank, and then have a down spurt too if you have a spot where you can drain your sewage. It'll be an easy process. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, the shipping container show. I mean, not the shipping containers, but the RV showed me that the system on the toilet system is like a high tech porta potty. You know how you be on job sites, for those who experience job sites construction. They put the treatment in there, and then they got the little deal and they fix it up, but you can see it. With the shipping container, they make the commodes where it covers and drops and it closes and actually keep water at the top of it to separate it and from the smell. So it's so much technology that you can actually convert. And I just wanted to do a small video about it because I was asked, like if I had to pick the two, like literally, if I had, you know, the money that I spent on my RV versus what I could have used that same money to customize a shipping container conversion, I go with the shipping container because it's made for hurricanes, it's made to withstand, and it's going to be cooler and warmer once you insulate it right. Like, no lie. Like, being in Phoenix, like, I had 3 air conditioners running inside my RV. I insulated the sides, the top, like it was serious as far as how that heat come, man. It was real. And the few things that I did helped a lot. Like, I put shades on the side where the sun hit the most, shades across the top. Like, I did whatever I could to help it out. But still, that environment, it was what it was. Now, I had a gentleman that I watched do a video, and they insulated their container, and it it was, man, it was unreal how cool it was versus than the RV. Like, unreal. And this was using 2-inch spray foam insulation all the way in your shipping container. And I think honestly, if you're going to be living in it, me personally, I would say go with the 2-inch spray foam all the way around is a plus in my personal opinion, because it's going to give you better installation. And then once you start putting your sheetrock or plywood or whatever you're using, it's just going to be a lot better. And then a lot of times you can add outside structure to wood framing, to decrease from the heat from the sun hitting the container being metal. But honestly, it's going to be extremely cooler than what you think. So, and just knowing the weight of it now and the size and what you can do with the conversion, like you literally can have a slide out on it. Like, I'm gonna be working on a design for that once I get a yard, showing how you can actually have a slide out or slide out part of your 20 footer, because I have seen people with the um, single ones and they have add-ons. My thing is, I love the fact that you can actually make the shipping container mobile. It can be portable. So, me being a fabricator and a welding engineer, I literally been thinking of ways how you can do the same thing with the shipping container, because the slide outs come on the RV too. The RV have the slide out. So, a lot of that technology you can convert, like the wiring, the plumbing. Like, it's not as complicated as you think, and it's actually stronger because your shipping container already have a structure and you reinforcing the frame. So if you're doing it independently, I would say reinforce your frame, your shipping container with 3/16, no less than 14 gauge, my personal opinion, because it'll last longer. 18, 1/8 inch, but I would say no less than 1/8 inch. But I would recommend 3/16 when you're doing your cutouts in your framing. But go with that 2-inch insulation spray on, and I'm telling you, like the the comfort you'll get from the inside is going to be unreal. And another good thing that I like about the how you can convert it with the power grid in the system, because I like the fact that I could have the solar energy. You can hook up, and that's another thing you can do with your shipping container. You can have solar power and the generator to run on and off to power, and you can now the solar power is so modern and it's so easy to get you a good system. You can actually get you a system that can power your 40 footer easy on and off grid. Um, and also with generator power on site just in case anything happens. You always want generator power just in case anything happens. And the technology and the price of it isn't expensive, and a lot of the RVs came equipped with generators, so that way you could go off and you know a lot of the tanks was big enough you can live 2 3 weeks and live before you even have to dump. What I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that you can do with your water recycling. So I just wanted to talk about that because Literally, for those who have lived in the RV, once you get the concept of the container conversions, like, to me, it's a no-brainer because you can actually have that 20 footer or 40 footer, more room, more stability, more you can do with it, and you can still travel it. You know, a lot of times we want to get caught up in trying to move things ourselves, but there's a lot of hot shots, a lot of independent truck drivers who can move your 40 foot and 20 foot shipping container easy. And if you got a 20 foot one, you literally can move this thing with your truck. So you can literally get a um, trailer design, a used one, and get it designed to um, unload and load your shipping container. Because that's what I'm gonna do. My goal, my goal is to be completely independent. Excuse me. It's early. I'm kind of hoarse. My goal is to be completely independent, and I want to be on and off grid. So in order for me to do that, um, I know I'm gonna have to design a trailer to haul mine around, and we're gonna actually have a home base, and then I actually want a 40 footer design to go different places and set up the live in. And I want to do something cool with it. I might actually, um, I'm still debating on I'm still debating on how many I'm gonna do with my home, but I know most definitely for the one I'm gonna use to travel with, to pop up in different spots that I can take off. I'm gonna probably have a 20 or a 40 footer. Now, to have a mobile studio where if I'm coming in doing jobs, a 20 footer would be great because I can drop it off, come in and stay, or I can drop a 40 footer off. So if I customize a 40 footer to do mobile jobs, if I'm on job sites, I got the shopping and living in there. Everything is what I need to be able to be on and off grid and on job sites, make money like all the way around. So just so many options you can have. So I just wanted to talk to you about that because I think that it's valuable that we use the knowledge and just convert it over to the containers, like everything that even from the homes, like convert that knowledge over to the containers. Like, it's not complicated. I had a few guys when I asked them about doing certain things to the shipping containers here in Oklahoma City, they like kind of froze up, like, shipping container, shipping container. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, it's not that hard. It's just like a home, a RV. Like, it's not hard, but they wanted to even charge me too much to do something. So on this conversion that I've actually been working on the side, both of those are actually my projects. That was my RV, and that is actually my container conversion that I'm working on now inside the picture. So building this one is actually a storefront office, and it's the foundation to many more. But I'm using the RV concepts and converting it over to a container, like the power, how I want it lined out, how I want to make sure it's mobile, how I want to make sure that I can be able to go on and off grid, because that's very, very important to be able to go on and off grid. So I was just up this morning thinking about a few things, and I think it's valuable that we use that knowledge. So for those who are entering the RV life, enjoy the RV life, check it out after you get into it. And if you're thinking about starting a business or actually owning a container home, you can still do the same. You can actually, you think about it, the cost of, they got those pods that they drop off at your house for you to pack up and move. If you think about that expense versus you having a 20 foot or a 40 foot container home custom, when you can have someone pick it up and take it where you're going, it'll be there by the time you get there. You can have the layout, you can have spots and lots where you're gonna have your land and layout like like you want it. You know what I mean? So one thing that I loved about the RV life, that it didn't tie me down. If anything happened, man, especially the way things are in America now, if anything happened, I wanted to be able to get up and go. I didn't want to be tied to no lease. I didn't want to be tied to no nothing. I wanted to go. And that's one thing I liked about the RV living. I own, if you own your land or your lot or you rent a space, you still can, you paid your rent for that month, to rent your power or whatever, your little lot, and you can go, you know what I mean? And actually, like I say, I lived in the RV park for a few years, and it wasn't that bad. Some new owners came that kind of made it, messed up, And it's crazy now that I'm gone, to be honest with you. Um, I'm not going to say that they was bad people because the new owners wasn't bad people. They was just a little different. But I seen so much change in people, doing that RV experience because I was there 4 years, man. And I just, I got cool with the people. I seen what was going on, and certain people just think by a system. And it's hard to think outside of the box, and being independent is going to make you different. People say tiny houses. I don't like to say tiny houses. I like to say container conversions because they don't have to be tiny. You can make a tiny one, but they don't have to be tiny. They can be luxurious, luxury, modern, all that good stuff. So my storefront slash office is got. I want it to be as modern as possible. Some of my ideas, and like I say, I'm using the RV knowledge technology and converting it over to my container. So I'm glad I experienced that RV life because now I know different things that's a plus when having an RV or having a container. So now I know what I can do, and I know with the living, I know the luxury, I know the freedom of having it. So it's simpler than what you think it is. Like you don't have to really complicate it. So I would say don't complicate it. Um, just keep it simple. Just keep it simple, and use that knowledge. So do some research on some RVs, know the setup, and you can convert that knowledge over to your container. So I would just say do research on both, and combine it once you come up with your concept or your ideology. So everybody is different, but I would most definitely say you can use your residential knowledge that you know on houses, commercial knowledge, your RV knowledge from traveling, all of that knowledge can be converted over to your container as far as living and how to set it up. So utilize that. Don't think that it can't happen because it is possible and it is legal. You know what I mean? Like you're making your own. And just remember, you are the designer, so you find out what need to be done, get it done right for codes that way. But you can actually use the layout inside of your container, and if it's going to be somewhere that's going to be on site, now you got different codes to make sure you got the living sites for if it's going to be like permanent. But I'm talking about making one to move around. So my goal is to make a 20 or 40 foot, probably a 40 foot, to be able to ship here and there to set up different places that I want to live, to check out, and I can be able to move it, work in it, whatever. And then I have the storefront I can move around. And I actually want the school to be, it's going to be at a permanent location, but it's going to be made out of shipping containers. So we're going to use anywhere from 3 to 4 shipping containers to do the school slash um, the HogOn facilities for the fabrication and modification of containers, products, and all that good stuff. So use all that knowledge. If you're a engineer, welder, fabricator, all of that knowledge go in. Like everything that you learn, I have learned over the years, use it in your container conversion. Use it in your developing your freedom and getting your independence. Use all of that knowledge in a nutshell to set you free, so to speak, to actually open up doors that no one can close, and you can close doors no one can open. So I think that's very, very valuable. Like I say, I just wanted to come to you this morning and talk to you about that because someone asked me about it, and I think it's wise. I think it's very wise because I'm doing it. I'm literally I'm doing it. And I had a guy ask me the other day, said, "Man, where you get this idea from?" I said, "Well, I lived in an RV for 4 years, so my RV had this and that in it, so I can put this and this and that inside my conversion." He was like, "Man, I would have never thought about that." And I'm glad I had the opportunity to actually live in the RV to experience it, to know what and what I can't do. So I got to say this: when you put your time in and you experience certain things, that knowledge, that knowledge you get is very valuable, very, very, very valuable. So use the knowledge and always convert it over um, to critique something or to make something better that you're trying to build, because you'll be surprised how certain things cross over, you know. So just wanted to say that to y'all this morning, drop a small video. I was just up, went to bed kind of early, so I woke up early, a few things on my mind. Actually about to get ready to drink some coffee and start thinking. I got a couple things I need to do this morning, as far as some prints I'm working on. And like I say, I wanted to spark your brain to think outside of the box, because the container is a box, but there's so much you can do with it. Hold on.